Welcome back to Travels with Alicia. In this episode, I'll talk about the island of Phuket and share my experience traveling there with my son, Dimitri. Phuket is Thailand's largest island. It's located off the country's western coast. It's roughly 2/3 the size of the country of Singapore. So this island is covered with mountains. 70% of this is a very mountainous island. You will find limestone cliffs to picturesque beaches. It's the west coast that is home to most of the island's best beaches. To the east is where you're going to find many small islands, and a lot of these are actually worth visiting. The interior of the island still has rubber and coconut plantations, but tourism has largely overtaken these as the primary economic drivers. Phuket's tourism history is fascinating. Before the 70s, the economy was primarily driven by tin mining and rubber plantations. The island's rich tin deposits attracted traders and entrepreneurs, particularly from China and Europe. The old town flourished with Sino-Portuguese mansions and shop houses that are still standing today. The first step towards beach tourism began in the 70s when adventurous backpackers discovered Phuket's beautiful coastline and relaxed lifestyle. These backpackers were primarily from Australia, New Zealand, and some coming from Europe and even North America. Then there was the construction of the Phuket International Airport in the mid-1970s, and this significantly increased accessibility. During the 80s, a major turning point occurred in 1984 when Phuket began welcoming direct international flights. This transformed the island from a backpacker haven to a global tourist spot. Then came the 90s, and Phuket's tourism industry experienced rapid growth, leading to a lot of infrastructure development, and it really prospered. But it also led to challenges, especially around environmental concerns. But I will say, today, Phuket continues to really flourish in the tourism industry. It adapts, it evolves, and it's constantly shifting, and so are the travelers. And so one of the things we're seeing a lot more of is people going to Phuket, not just in the winter to escape maybe the cold from where they're from, but it's also they're staying year round. We're seeing people really enjoy the green season, which is the rainy season. So I will say, most people still go from December to probably April, but it is not an empty island any longer. It's a place where people really enjoy to be there year round. So I'll have to say that I have heard many frequent travelers to Thailand say, Phuket is overrated. It's way too expensive. But my experience was fantastic. It is a great place for a first-timer who's traveling to a Thai island. It is so big, and there are so many towns for every taste and budget. You also have access to other islands for day trips. The most important thing, I think, for me was how easy it was to get to. There are many nonstop flights from Bangkok and also other areas of Thailand. But the really exciting thing is there's nonstop flights from many other Asian cities and even from Australia and Europe. So I did a quick look at this, and you can get direct flights from Copenhagen, Frankfurt, London, Paris, and Zurich. Unfortunately, there's none from the U.S., but as you can see, this makes Phuket stand out among many other islands, Thai islands, that you can actually fly nonstop from many different cities. The accommodations are at every price point. There's both hotels and vacation rentals available. Let's now talk about the areas that you can stay in Phuket. We have to start with, of course, the West Coast, because that's where all the beautiful beaches are. So first I'm going to talk about Patong, and then the top 3 beaches to the south of Patong, and the top 3 towns to the north of Patong. So Patong is a vibrant resort town in the middle of the West Coast. It is the most well-known and bustling tourist destination in Phuket. I will tell you, you will be in the center of the action with endless dining, shopping, and entertainment. The beach is about 3.5 kilometers long. It's gorgeous. The sand is fine. The water is beautiful and warm and calm. But here's the catch. Unfortunately, Patong is known for a very vibrant nightlife, and it's particularly centered around Bangla Road. And this has given it a pretty negative connotation. I mean, it's filled with not just bars, but there's a lot of go-go bars and, kind of seedy nightlife. So, but there's also other things. There's cabaret shows, there's Thai boxing, there's a huge Thai boxing stadium there. And they do have a wide range of accommodations. There are luxury resorts, there are hostels, there are condos, and there's something for everyone. Unfortunately, it just gets a bad rap because of Bangla Road. So my advice is if you're going to go to Patong, which many people do, like I said, they even have many family-friendly hotels and gorgeous resorts. Just avoid that area, and I think you're going to be fine. So personally, I probably would not choose Patong, but I did see a lot of really nice hotels. So, but let's move now to the 3 areas that are south of Patong. So just 5 miles south is Karen. And this is the beach where Dimitri and I stayed. And Karen Beach is just another world. It has long sandy beaches known for beautiful, tranquil water. It's quieter. It's definitely family friendly. It has great swimming, and it has a lot of resorts, restaurants, and beachfront bars. It is the Phuket's longest beach next to Patong, and it has a lot of space for people just to walk around and relax. I will say, Dimitri and I were a block from the beautiful beach in the shallow water. I really loved it. We rented an apartment above a British pub. And this really did sound like a good idea because it was going to give us each privacy without having to get 2 hotel rooms. The reviews were really good, and I thought it would be nice to have the option of pub food, and maybe we'd run into more English speakers. But in reality, there were countless food options everywhere. We never had language issues, and the apartment was a little bit tired and dusty. The owner of the pub had seen better days as well. So we just wiped the dust away and made the best of it. We were very grateful to be in Phuket, and I just didn't want to complain. But I will say there were plenty of nice hotels, and Karen also had many restaurants and shops, including tailor shops and motorcycle rental shops. I would definitely go back to this area again and highly recommend it. So when we got to Karen, Dimitri wanted to rent a motorcycle, and I did not think it was a good idea and said, let's just think about it. But that night he informed me that he had already rented a bike for the week, and I think it was only something like $30 for the week. And although it was a great deal, my reservations had nothing to do with money. Motorcycle accidents are very common in many Southeast Asian destinations. This is such a busy island. It's probably not the best place to rent a bike, but we ended up having a fantastic time, even though I was very nervous. We were able to explore many of the beaches and small towns. I will say we did get a ticket, and I think that was around $30, because you have to have a motorcycle license, which Dimitri doesn't have one. So there were police stopping people all the time to check for compliance. So it's just something to remember. The next beach south, a little further south in Karen, is called Kata Beach. And this area is also very beautiful and family friendly. I will say it's much smaller. The beach is much more condensed. It's known for surfing, so it's not as a mild beach and calm as Karen. The crowds seem busier because it's just a condensed area, but it's also a very well-known tourist town in Phuket. And then the third one I'm going to mention that's south of Patong is almost towards the end of the island. It's called Na Harn Beach. And this area, like I said, it's on the southern tip of Phuket. It is beautiful. It's like a little cove, and it was surrounded by green hills. It was much quieter and less crowded. I will tell you, this was my favorite of all the beaches I visited. It was so calm, and there was this highly rated hotel on a cliff overlooking the beach, and it was called the Na Harn. And I told myself, if I were to come back, I would stay here in Na Harn at that hotel. I will say there weren't a lot of restaurants or things to do in the area, but it was just so beautiful, I would still choose this area. So there were the three areas south of Patong. So now let's look at what was north of Patong. Again, that's the major destination on the west coast. So the areas that I'd like to highlight are Kamala, Surin, and Bang Tao. If we look at Kamala, it's very relaxed. Again, a very family-friendly mix of luxury resorts and budget-friendly. So you'll see most of these towns, if you want to stay in a particular town, you'll be able to find something at your price point. They have some unique attractions. It's home to the Phuket Fantasy. It's a theme park, so that's close to Kamala. And then there's also a night market in the area, and that would be definitely worthy of going to. The next place north of Patong is Surin Beach, and that's it's only 20 minutes from the airport. So if you want to be close to the airport, staying north of Patong would be a good choice. And again, Surin Beach is just a lovely destination. But the one I want to talk about is Bang Tao Beach. And this is a little more secluded. They have a lot of like private villas along like a very nice stretch of sand. It's further from a lot of the attractions, but I've also heard that you'll find elephants sometimes roaming the beach. And I thought that alone is just wonderful. Even if I stayed in Surin, I would probably visit this beach just to see if I could catch an elephant roaming around. But that reminds me, Dimitri would get up early in the morning and go out on motorcycle rides. He was riding into the interior of the island where it was quieter. He saw elephants, and he even said one time he had a little baby elephant run alongside him on the motorcycle. And I just thought that was amazing. That must have been such a cool experience. So now we've talked about the West Coast. We've talked about the South and the North, but I want to mention a few other places that you really should be aware of if you're going to Phuket. The first is Phuket Old Town. This is the largest city in Phuket. It's 3 times the population of Patong. This area offers a glimpse into the island's history and culture, and this is where you're going to see the beautiful architecture, the colorful buildings, unique shops, cafes. It's a great place to explore on foot and experience a different side of Phuket, away from beaches. Here you're going to see a lot of street art, museums, temples. There'll be markets. The Sunday walking street market is well worth a visit. This is an area I didn't get to, and I really regret it. So if and when, or maybe I should say when I get back, I will absolutely make sure I get to Phuket's Old Town. This was about 30 minutes on a motorcycle from where we stayed. I guess I didn't realize it was that close. We probably could have done it. So another place I want to talk about is Raleigh. This is on the southeastern part of the island. So I've talked about the western, where all the great beaches are. This is an area that just has a lot of local charm, and it has very good access to boats and day trips to other islands. So that is something to really think about. They have some beautiful resorts. They don't really have the best beaches, but they have gorgeous pools. And if you want to do day trips to different islands, this could be a good choice. So there are a couple islands I'll just call out. There's one called Coral Island. There's Racha Island. Raya Island. These are all just very short boat rides. You can go out for a few hours and visit them. There are a couple islands that you might want to stay longer. Like you might want to stay the weekend or, a whole week. One is Koh Phi Phi, and that, is a famous island. It has, again, you can stay on the island. There's plenty of accommodations at all price points. And the other one is Koh Lanta. And this offers great restaurants and activities. And Koh Phi Phi, I think it's a little more party-oriented, where this Koh Lanta is more laid back. So there are some islands to keep in mind if you're visiting Phuket. One thing I'd like to mention is going out on boats it's beautiful out there because they have limestone cliffs that just come out of the water. So Dimitri and I did get to go out on a boat. Wait, it was actually a yacht. And this was due to a dear friend that I have, and I've worked with her for over 20 years. She knew we were visiting Phuket and asked if she could treat us to a boat day. And we showed up, and we were shocked to see a very large and pretty, very new, gorgeous yacht sitting there. And so the captain was British, and he had a whole crew, and he took us around, and we rode through the limestone cliffs, and then we stopped at Ratchaya Island for lunch and swimming, and I cannot tell you how spoiled we felt. If you're interested in some high-end experience, you can arrange a charter. There are high-end yachts that have become this has become very popular over the years. The captain told us that many fun stories of famous and wealthy people that charter these type boats in Thailand. Leonardo DiCaprio, he comes to Thailand every couple years and often charters a boat while he's there. So something to think about. So Panwa Cape is another place I just want to mention. And this is on the southeastern tip of Phuket, and it offers natural beauty and luxury. It's very far removed from any of the bustling tourist hubs. And if you just want peace and quiet, this is a place to come. In the highlights, they do have beautiful sand and nice calm water. And it's also home to the Phuket Aquarium. That's kind of close. So that's something you could do if you were in the area. So I guess the last place I'm going to mention is La Yan, and this is on the northwest coast, way to the north, and it's lesser known and very quiet. There's a small island, Koh Kala, and it's just located off the shore, and visitors enjoy going there, having fresh seafood and local dishes at beachfront restaurants. You can also kayak a lot around here. There's a national park. So I think I need to wrap this up. And what I can say is I absolutely recommend Phuket. I really do. It's great for those who do not have a lot of time and they want an island trip. So if you are visiting any of the destinations with nonstop flights to this island, this could make your trip super easy. I would return, and if I did, I would stay on the northwest coast. I would stay in the beautiful town of Surin, and they have a hotel called The Surin. Or I'd even go more north and stay at the Sarajin, and that's spelled Sarajin. That's also one of the most famous resorts on the island. So I would definitely come to the northwest coast, but if I had a little more time, I would go back to Na Harn. That's where I told you that was the most beautiful beach I saw on the island, and stay in the Na Harn Hotel. But if I was down there, I could even do day trips to islands. So that would be the big sell on that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Travels with Alicia. Stay tuned for a new episode where I talk about the island of Kefalonia in Greece.